Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and today is Saturday, May 24th, 2014, and this is Stock Market Analysis Weekend Edition. All right, here we've got on the chart the Dow, the S&P, and the New York Composite. Dow Industrials, S&P, New York Composite, and then the weekly down below here. Okay, get rid of this for a moment. So the Dow was up, 63 points yesterday, and for the week up 114.8, almost 115 points. Now we're still in this tight ending diagonal in this little wedge, okay? Wedge is not quite the same here. It's a little broader, a little sharper here on the New York Composite. It's interesting when you look at, although the entire day had an upside bias, which is not unusual because we get a lot of these types of days right before the holidays. Okay, the last day before the holidays seems to be bullish. I didn't pull out any record in an almanac or anything, but I'm almost positive that happens all the time. But it's interesting that when I started to look at the range for the day, the high and low, it was actually slightly less than the day before on Thursday. So, and it was the case on the New York Composite, the S&P, and the Dow, that it was just slightly less. So again, 2 days of fairly tight compression, and we'll have to see what we get, whether we get continued move and take out the top. If we take out the top here, we've really got to reconsider what is our scenario and what's going on. So, all right, let's take a look at the Nasdaq and the Russell 2000. Okay, the Nasdaq was up 31.4 points and up, 95 points for the week. And this is looking a little, it's looking bullish. It did get above this high. Let's blow it up for us. Okay, it did get above this point here. This is where I like the crosshairs because then I could see the horizontal line. You can see here, okay? So I'm starting to wonder, are we trying to get a rally back, part of a pullback, like maybe an ABC pullback rally here on the Nasdaq and the Russell 2000 because it's had this move down. Now, the thing about this move here from an Elliott wave perspective, I really am having a hard time counting waves. I can't count 5 waves in here because you can't, again, wave 4 cannot overlap wave 1. So this can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4. This can't be 4 because it overlaps 1. Okay, so then you're into, okay, well, then what is it? Is it an ABC? So sometimes when waves just aren't clear and you're not really sure, you just kind of, next move on to the next thing or step back and maybe it's going to become clear, later on or something else will develop. But right now, you need 5 to indicate that we're in a new direction to the downside. You need 5 waves in that downside direction, and I'm not seeing it yet, so I'm a little cautious on what's going on with the Nasdaq. And then seeing some other things on some stocks, you kind of wonder. But anyway, right now we're getting a little bit of some bullish action in here. The RSI is above the 50. That's positive. The DI plus just crossed above the DI minus. That's positive. Now, the way that is supposed to work, when you get the cross, it's not totally confirmed until the high of that day is taken out. Okay, so the high of Friday taken out. Well, it closed almost on the high, so it should be too difficult to do. And the demand index went positive. It has gone positive over the last couple of days. So right now, it looks like, excuse me, again, allergies are kicking in, so I apologize for the voice. Right now, it looks like this is trying to push to the upside. Let's see what the Russell, now the Russell's not quite, okay, so, you see how this point here on the Nasdaq, well, the Russell still hasn't taken out this point here, which would correspond to this one here. So the Russell's still in a solid downtrend in terms of lower highs and lower lows in here. Okay, let's take a look at some of the key ETFs that we look at, which is the semiconductors, the home builders, and the financial select. Okay, now the semiconductors popped up to the upside here the last couple of days, and especially on Friday, a little breakout. Now, the volume's not very high, so it's a little suspect, and again, it's breaking the trend line, but are we still stuck in a sideways? Will it take out this high? you know, that's what you kind of got to watch. A little bit of, you know, up and then down and up action going on in here. Now, again, over here on the home builders, it's breaking the downward channel. But again, you've got this kind of move in here. Let's see if I can, you know, this, you know, right in here is the kind of the top of the range, kind of the bottom of the range. And so really breaking out of the channel, it could just pull up a little bit and then just start continue chopping. I mean, that's, you know, a realistic possibility. So, and here we're kind of waiting. You know, the real key breakdown here on the financial select is is breaking this trend line. And again, low volume, really low volume. Okay, look at 4 out of the last 5 days are really, really low. And of course, Friday, you know, like I said, you know, my post Thursday night, so, are you still here? I mean, everybody's probably, you know, heading for a long weekend, taking advantage of a 3-day weekend and trying to make it a 4-day weekend or 5-day weekend. So we'll have to see whether or not this move gets validated on all the market stuff when it comes back on Tuesday, Wednesday. That's going to be the key. Okay, let's take a look at the some of the indicators here. If I could find them, short-term trading index. Continued to be stuck in the middle, doing nothing. And I don't want to do that. Let's go back here. And the high-low index. High-low index continues to just move sideways, just, you know, just in this range too, in here. So it's not doing anything. And then the last one is the VIX that we want to take a look at. And boy, the VIX really dropped right through the floor on Friday. So we're down here. Now I put this line down here. What is this? 11.36. Okay. Now I know I've talked about this, but okay, back in March of last year, it's where we got some readings in here. Close at 11.3, close at 11.3. And other than this, you have to go back to February 2007 to get readings this low. Okay, it's just, it hasn't happened. Now, the interesting thing about this is, you know, let's take a look on a weekly chart, just so you know. You go back, we had a period back in here, 2005 to the beginning of 2007, where we just stuck around and traded at those low areas. And previous to that, the only other time we did that was 93 into 95. Okay, so we have had periods where we've had extended times, very, very low readings on the VIX. So I don't know if this is an indication. Does that mean that we're going to be doing that, or what? I mean, given where we're at with the 5-year rally, I'm just suspect. I mean, we're kind of, the other thing I'm watching up here is this divergence. Okay, so I'm really keeping an eye on that. It did go down again because of the drop, but it did not go to a lower reading. You know, I can't even blow it up for you. I mean, take a look, but it did not go to a lower reading with this big move to the downside. So that's what I'm watching. That could be a sign that we're getting ready to get a pop, which would be selling. So we're getting some mixed signals in here. All right, today I'm going to go ahead and look. We're going to look now at Apple and then Amazon. And then I'm going to look at the casino stocks, which we have not looked at in a while. So let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, I got to keep staying with my window here. Let's take a look at Apple. Okay, I am giving up for the moment the bearish scenario on Apple, and it's just acting too bullish. And the more I looked at on the long-term waves, the pullback from 700 down from here back down here to this low here may have been adequate in terms of the retracement, and so now if that's the case, and I'll tell you, this line, this top here cannot be retraced. If we break this point here, then I think we're going to turn back in, and I'm going to reevaluate that this is nothing but an upward correction still. But right now, I've got to sit back and say, 1, 2, and that we're in a big wave 3 pushing to the upside. But because of these overlapping waves, I've got to count it as this is a wave in a wave 3. Okay, we're trying to do, let's see if I can do this. We're trying to do a big, wave 3. Can't even write. Okay, so if that's the case, then you've got this wave 1, wave 2, and this could be wave 3 and then wave 4, but no, wave 4 cannot overlap wave 1. So that means that this wave 2 is developing out. So this is wave 1 within 2, this is wave 2 within 2, and now this is wave 3 within 2. And because of overlapping again, this is defining this wave. So we keep breaking it down into smaller waves and smaller waves as they overlap. And so the best count that I can think is that we're in this fifth minor wave, subwave, subminuet, if you want to call it. It's kind of a very, very small subwave 5 in here. And that will then complete this wave. This will be a wave 3. And then it'll correct back down, maybe down into here. So right now, the best guess that I could say is that we're going to continue to push a little bit higher on Apple and then work for a pullback down to the downside here. So we'll have to see whether how that action plays out. And when I do that and do a projection, looking at wave 1, pull back to wave 2, this was a normal wave 3 at 161.8%. Up to 161.8% of wave 1, that is considered to be the normal length of a wave 3. You get beyond that, you consider that wave 3 is extended. So given that this wave, I got to blow this up to get rid of this. So given that wave 3 in here is normal wave 3, we'll now go to the length of it, pull it back to the bottom of 4, and start to look, okay, where's the target? Well, we could have a move all the way up to 650 to 690 in this wave if this starts to extend. So I think we got some more upside coming on Apple, and that's the best take. We'll just have to see if it continues to play out. Again, I think the uncle point on this is if this point right here gets taken out, then that means that this scenario is not going to be, because you cannot have, if this is a wave 3, you cannot have wave 4 come back and overlap wave 1. Okay, so then it's going to be doing something else and more complex and more corrective. All right, let's move on to Amazon. Amazon looks like it's trying to bounce. We're getting divergence on all 3 indicators. It looks like it wants to bounce, but it's still, in a negative scenario, okay? So it could easily be bouncing up to the 55, maybe even up to the 233, and then comes back down and chops a little bit or whatever. I don't think right now that this is some major big new move. I just think we're doing a bounce. Okay, now we're going to look at the casino stocks. Let's take a look at Las Vegas Sands. And Las Vegas, I think, is in a sideways correction. We've had 5 waves up. And now I think we're doing an A, B, C. It looks a little bit like a topping type deal in here. And I just, given the fact that the 10's below the 21, below the 55, they're kind of turning down. It's fairly negative. It's hard to sit back and say, okay, I want to jump in and take a position right now. So that is my assessment on that. It's in correction mode. MGM is in a similar type scenario, and again, the moving averages are aligned, but we're a little bit more to the downside. I mean, to the sideways action in here. Let's see if there's anything else I can see now. It's really tempting to jump in and grab something in here because it's starting to trade above the 10, but when you see this like this, it's better off to be a little bit cautious. Melco Crown Entertainment. Melco's in this downward channel. I think we looked at this maybe Wednesday night, so fairly recently. So not a whole lot's changed. Again, 10 below the 21, below the 55. I mean, you're trending down. Short term and intermediate term are in down. So And this is not, you want to lean towards triggers to the downside, if anything, until those start to fail. And the last one we're going to take a look at is WYNN. We're getting a lot of bullish divergence in here. With this move down to the downside, the DI minuses continue to show divergence. The RSI showed divergence, and the RSI is greater than 50 now, which means it's on the upside and bullish side, and the demand index has gone positive. So WYNN, on the other hand, is looking a little more bullish, but we still get this little trend line angled in here. You've still got the 21 below the 55. You do have a trend line in here. Again, it's corrected down, but this picture is a little bit confusing to me. So it's kind of hard to, if you wanted to go long on WYNN, just do it with a tight stop would be my suggestion. But I'm not posing a trade idea in here on WYNN. So, the stocks have gone up, and, I'm not quite sure that they've corrected enough. I do think that if WYNN comes back down, it probably won't go below 170 to keep the bullish scenario in that it's got going. So, all right, that's it for today. So we had Apple, we had Amazon, we had the casino stocks. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with trade ideas, and hope everyone's having a great long weekend, and we'll have trade ideas for next week. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great weekend.